Hey,
Oh man,
we love the shameless blood.
it's kind of a shame.
Is it a shame? If it's a shameless plug?
This is why I don't. Sons of Texas. I don't get that name.
Well, because Dustin's from Texas and Sammy's from Texas, and I guess because they're guys, they're both technically sons. So they just went like, hey, let's make the most literal tag team name ever.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, whatever time of day you are watching. This is the Big Bro Wrestling YouTube channel, and buddy, we're here to talk about Double or Nothing.
Yep, we sure are.
To get the business out of the way, I am the storyteller Alex Braddock. Joining me as always,
I am just a camera guy, Cameraman 3, Dylan Gilbert.
Cameraman.
I hear this name made its way onto 225 Unleashed commentary, so I'm bringing it back.
Heck yes.
You gotta work the gimmick. You gotta
I'm
work the gimmick.
totally there. Buddy, Double or Nothing is this Sunday, tomorrow, as of this video.
Yes.
We have the full card. Will we be talking about the full card?
I have a feeling because you're asking it as a question, we will not.
Yeah, no, we're not going to talk about the full card. This is not a predictions video. This is more of a rant. We have decided it has been a minute since we have sat down and had a long-form rant of any kind. So we are going to sit down, we are going to talk about what we think is going to happen at Double or Nothing, bigger matches that we care about, going into All in Texas.
So ready.
It's going to be fun.
So ready.
So buddy, let's just kick it off right off the bat. I'll go ahead and list off the matches that we'll be watching tomorrow night. Sons of Texas versus the Hurt Business Syndicate, something like that. The guys.
We hurt people.
That match is going to be fun.
Oh, it's going to be really fun.
Nigel McGuinness coming out of retirement again, and Daniel Garcia versus FTR. Once
Really
again,
fun.
going to be a fun tag match. A stretcher match, because
Match of the
legally they can't call it an ambulance match.
Match of the night candidate.
Good old Mark Briscoe and Ricochet fighting it off because they're both bald.
You know, they've been having a lot of fun in those mixed tags, and I just figure, why not, you know? If nothing else, just because I want some redneck kung fu in some sort of hardcore match.
Yeah, it'd be good.
Simple.
A match I honestly could care less about. Anarchy in the Arena.
Are you... what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be fun.
What?
I'm going to pay attention to it, but like the story build-up of it all, I could care less about.
You've
Compared to the rest of these matches and the potential that these matches have.
Man, so especially now with Gabe Kidd hopping the barricade twice to back up the Death Riders, I think we have potential. There's so many potential matchups in this. You have Kenny and Gabe. You have Samoa Joe and anybody in the Death Riders. You have Shibata and anybody in the Death Riders. You've got Swerve out there just going off after anybody that touches him. I mean, there's so many options, but I'm also looking at Gabe Kidd is not on the graphic. But Gabe Kidd has aligned himself multiple times with the Death Riders, so I think we see some sort of surprise return in this. Maybe like Hook coming back to help the Ops.
Yep.
I think they've done such a good job with the Ops being the ones to take the trios titles.
Yeah.
And the pop when that happened and the moment, and I think obviously this is just going to be kind of a placeholder because the big pop of Moxley losing the title is not happening until Texas.
We're going to cry if it happens before Texas.
I'll cry if it happens in Texas too, but
yeah,
whatever. Here we are.
That too.
Wrestling.
But
folks.
yes, when it comes to implications of this match, I feel like it has had so much more previously with the Anarchy in the Arena. Like, yes, there wasn't like title shots on the line or anything like that, but it felt heavier, and I feel like this is just one of those things that it's like, yeah, we've been kind of building it with the Young Bucks teasing that we're going to work with the Death Riders, and then it just hasn't.
Well, the Death Riders story, I think, has just gone on too long.
Yeah.
If you'd have done this 6 months ago, it would feel like the most stakes. It
Absolutely.
would feel like the biggest deal. But I think they're doing this like almost Roman Reigns like thing where it's like the best way I can compare it is Anchorman 2. When Champ gets the sports highlights, he just starts saying whammy over and over and over and over. And it's like, it starts off really funny, and then it dips off to completely unfunny, and then it picks back up to be funny again.
Yeah.
I think this is like this. It doesn't feel like it started off like it felt like it's the most important thing, and it's just kind of slowly done this. But I think it's kind of like on the pick back up, and I think this could help that, especially like Gabe Kidd getting involved and everything. So we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows?
A match that I kind of want to talk about, just because I will be mentioning it in the future, Kazuchika Okada versus Mike Bailey for the Continental title. That's going to be a barn burner. And if it's not, I will be extremely upset. Okada, one of the greatest that's out there. Bailey, who is just a literal speedball when it comes to being fast and flippy. And anything, like, Okada came and interrupted last night. I saw a highlight of Collision.
And Okada with his hair brown again was
it was
so weird.
It was weird. But yeah, just like the little pop that Bailey did to him, I'm like, oh, these guys are gonna go.
They're gonna go.
So we'll see what happens. But the big three matches that I want to talk about, because it has implications for Texas, is we'll start with Mina Shirakawa versus Timeless Toni Storm for the women's title. Buddy, clearly Toni takes it, right? Like, Mina doesn't win. But what do we have happen?
So if we were doing a predictions video, this would be my golden snitch. Just drop it right here. Mariah May, if she is coming back, if she is ever coming back, it's now.
Yeah.
And I think if Mariah May does come back, I think there is a chance that they take that belt off of Toni that way, and then her and Toni have the feud to fight back to whoever has the title. I'm hoping still Mina.
Yeah.
Because I still feel like, as great as that feud was, and as much as the Hollywood ending was a perfect finale, I think there's a lot we haven't touched yet.
Yeah.
I think we rushed through a lot of the stuff with Mina, and now Mina's all elite. She's around. She's gonna be here long haul.
Yeah.
But if she doesn't, I think we still have a barn burner of a match between these two women, and I think Toni retains.
Yeah.
I mean, there's multiple ways it could go, and it would all make sense.
Right. So, do you think it's a situation where Toni loses it and we have May and Toni at Texas?
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, I could see either the music hitting or like jumping the barricade or some sort of like surprise moment that costs Toni this match.
Gotcha.
Because if you look at social medias, Mariah May has had it seems like every day she's posting pictures with the AEW Women's Championship, and a lot of the pictures are in black and white.
Yeah.
And do with that information what you will, but to me that screams she's still telling a story.
Yeah.
And it seems kind of like when MJF was walking out of the company and he had a flight out of Vegas and he was never coming back, and then he gets on TV and calls Toni a fucking mark, and oh my God, he's done. Then why would he not come back? And then 6 months later, he's got that terrible tattoo on his ankle.
Yeah, one per episode.
One per episode. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go and talk about the final of the women's Owens then. Mercedes Moné versus Jamie Hayter. Lover or hater?
I hardly know her.
Mercedes Moné will more than likely take this.
Yeah.
Which, both sides of the coin, results in phenomenal matches with both sides of the coin of the women's match.
Yeah.
I personally think, because we've come to expect it at this point, that Mercedes will win this tournament and add another belt to her collection. But I love the input that you put in about possibly Mina picking up the win in this title match, because Mina just took the first title off of Mercedes. So it could result in a story of that caliber at All in Texas.
So it's a couple things that got said in their sit down that really just like when Jamie Hayter immediately comes to the like, you look a little bit lighter, it looks like you're missing something.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a great line, but like we're already playing off of like she had 4, now she has 3.
Yeah.
I doubt we see the downfall this quickly.
Yeah.
I say this quickly. It has felt like forever. But I mean, we're hitting that point where you have to take a loss every now and again.
I mean, it's been
to be believable.
I think it's been almost a year.
Yeah, they're
since
saying
the TBS win.
They're saying she is like undefeated in singles competition at AEW in her career.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, man, she's gonna have to take a loss.
Right.
It just because otherwise it turns into that thing with Roman Reigns where it's just like, okay, LOL, Roman wins again. LOL, Cena wins again. Like it's starting to become that thing, and the matches to me are infinitely less compelling because you just kind of know that it's like, well, this isn't gonna be the one.
Yeah. I would be interested because you're talking about the downfall. I'd be interested to see if I don't think the Owen Cup is what does it. I think a loss at all in Texas would be what does it, but it doesn't necessarily start a downfall unless her title is taken away.
Right.
Because for me, Tony doesn't need that win. Honestly, Mina doesn't even need the win to beat Mercedes, but at the same time, it could boost her up versus Tony that's just like, oh, okay, yeah, we kind of figured that would happen.
Tony's also like the top of their women's division, and I've seen people even saying things as far as she is almost like Stone Cold levels of over.
Yeah.
Where it's like, obviously two different eras, entirely different characters, but I mean, you look at the way she commands any building she's in, and whatever kooky thing she does is just like boom, all over everything.
And odds are you're probably not going to be able to heel turn.
Right. You're not gonna be able to.
It's going to fail.
Which is why I'm thinking maybe we get Mariah involved here.
Yeah.
Because she comes back heel. I mean, because you already have that subsection of the fan base that's like, well, she's leaving, screw her. Like, no, if you're gonna leave, go get your money. Like, who cares?
Right.
Like, go work wherever. Go make your money.
It's a money world we live in.
Well, and wrestling's one of those businesses, man. You never know what's gonna be the bump that's the last one.
Right.
Until it's happened.
Right.
So like, go get your money. Go do whatever you need to do. But if she comes back, you play off that and you lean into it.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Like I think. Let's talk about if Jamie Hayter wins on the honestly 20% chance that she does.
Yeah.
If Hayter wins, both sides of that coin of the women's match is also going to be phenomenal. Hayter and Storm
they all make sense.
Right. Hayter and Storm have so much chemistry. And then Hayter is a stardom girl, meaning her and Mina are gonna go.
And it's I wouldn't go as far as to say dream match, but I mean it's one of those matches that like if we have seen, I don't remember it.
Yeah.
And I think it stands a chance to be really solid because they have kind of complementary styles.
Yeah.
And
that is my only worry is that if Hayter wins the Owen and Mina wins the title via shenanigans with Mariah or whatever, I have a feeling with whatever other women's match they put on at All In Texas is going to overlap the women's title match with if it's Hayter and Mina. That's my only concern.
Right.
If it's Mina and Hayter at Texas, is that it could possibly be overshadowed by another women's match.
Which is why I kind of feel like Mercedes is taking this one because I feel like if you're going to have two women's matches on that card, you have one of your biggest stars in this one and one in the other.
Right. Right.
Because to me, that just makes sense.
Yeah. So what do we think happens at Texas?
I mean, if it's what I want to happen at Texas versus what will happen at Texas, I mean, Tony Storm.
We're fantasy booking, man.
Tony Storm retains against whoever and reigns 10,000 days because she's a perfect champion.
I mean, me personally, I really like the idea of Shirakawa versus Mercedes for the title.
I'm not mad at that one either.
And I really like the idea of May and Storm at Texas.
Yeah,
and just a normal match. It doesn't need the Hollywood ending stipulation. Odds are, if it happens, it'll probably be a death match, essentially.
I mean, I loved the all-out match that Statlander and Willow had like last year.
Yeah.
I see them saving that for later in the year in terms of like escalation.
Yeah.
But
I think
they have done so much.
It's not going to be a rebuild, but I think they need to build that tension again.
I think so. I think if you do bring Mariah back, then like there does have to be a couple of matches
Yeah.
And even matches against other people where somebody gets involved or whatever.
Yeah.
I think the two of them together are straight up money.
Yeah.
But you also now have Mina in this storyline, and she's here to stay, not on loan. So I think there's a ton that they can do.
Absolutely.
Maybe a triple threat.
Maybe. Who knows?
Mina Shirakawa on a forklift match.
On a pole. That has different implications.
Yeah, that's why I didn't say it. Good morning.
Let's talk about the main event of Double or Nothing. Will Ospreay versus Hangman Adam Page. I mean, we know who we're taking, right? I mean, everyone knows I'm an Ospreay mark.
I'm not quiet about that fact either. But this is one of those ones for me where I truly think there's no wrong answer.
Yeah.
And it's just we've been following Ospreay since Progress. We've been following Hangman since he was the buddy in ROH.
Since
they made all the dick
he was
jokes
in
about
high school.
Yeah.
Since he was a high school teacher.
Since he was a high school teacher that wrestled on weekends, and now him and Ospreay are two of the biggest stars in wrestling.
Yep.
And I think they're two kind of contrasting styles, and I think the match itself is going to be unreal.
Yeah.
But Ospreay said something in that promo last Wednesday, and it was, why would we want to go on after Anarchy in the Arena? And he talked about the stakes of this match. And he said, whoever walks out of this is now tasked with the responsibility of taking the title off of Jon Moxley.
Yeah.
And so this is literally we are two of the best, and we need to see who is the best so we can go get that.
Yeah.
So they're going to kill each other, right?
Absolutely.
One of these guys...
The fact that they are after Anarchy in the Arena means this match is just another tally in Will Ospreay's 5-star match list.
I feel like at a certain point, one of these years, the top 5 for Meltzer is just going to be Ospreay.
It wouldn't surprise me. It was almost that way last year.
Yeah. And I know, Meltzer's opinions are Meltzer's opinions, whatever.
Yeah.
I agree sometimes, I don't agree sometimes, but, Ospreay consistently puts on matches that are up here.
Above. Yeah. Okay, so let's fantasy book here. If Hangman takes it, Hangman versus Mox at All In Texas.
Texas Death.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
That percentage just went up in Hangman's favor.
Dude, I have this as a true 50-50. And I could totally see him going either way.
Yeah.
I want Ospreay.
Yeah.
But I can see this right down the middle.
But if Hangman takes it, so my whole thing is, if Hangman takes it, we have matches that we've already seen.
Yes.
If Hangman wins in Texas, wins at Double or Nothing and wins in Texas, becomes 2-time champion, which is the 3rd or 4th in AEW's history.
I think 3rd.
Because I think we have both Joe and Mox as 2-time champions.
Well, I think Charles Montgomery, so I think he would be the 4th.
Yes, you are correct. But then it turns into matches that we've already seen.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking the other day. We are currently at a point where we don't necessarily have a new and uprising star coming. In my personal opinion, we have possible contenders.
Well,
but we do not have up and rising stars.
I think we have the pillars have shifted.
Yes,
as to where it was these young talents right now, Darby's on a mountain somewhere.
Darby's on a mountain.
Orange
Scapegoat's in a pen.
Yeah, the Scapegoat's in the pen. Orange is, I guess, injured.
I don't know.
But if you look at TV right now, the pillars that they are putting up, it's Will Ospreay.
Yep.
Swerve Strickland.
Yep.
Hangman Page.
Yep.
And MJF.
Yep.
And that's what you're building everything around.
Yeah.
And I think that's your title picture regardless. I think for the next year, you could any interchangeable amount of these.
Buddy, do I have a way to blow your mind that I think we've already talked about?
So, pass level.
Will Ospreay takes it Double or Nothing, but it's inevitable. It's going to happen. Will Ospreay takes it All In Texas, wins the AEW World Championship that he should have gotten a year and a half ago against Swerve at Dynasty.
The one he should have also had a shot for in Wembley. Should have won in Wembley, and then had the most perfect emotional moment ever.
Well, buddy, let's talk about what's after Texas. The first time in this video that we talk about what's after Texas.
Because we're smartasses.
Because...
Ding.
Yes. There's so much potential for feuds that we've already had with Ospreay that just add more stakes with the world title on them.
Mm-hmm.
We know the first person to step up to bat is going to be Hangman.
It has to be.
If Ospreay wins in Texas, let's book the next year. Let's go Texas to Texas, okay? Hangman wins, or Hangman doesn't win, excuse me. Hangman steps up to bat, has to, because you beat me in the Owen, let's run it one time for the title. It's going to be on a Dynamite. You have MJF.
They had a banger feud.
Say less. You have Swerve.
Which is now made even more emotional by the whole, he's one of my best friends in this locker room shit they've had going for the last little bit.
Yes. You have none other than Kenny Omega,
mm-hmm.
which would not surprise me if that happens at Forbidden Door after All in Texas. Full circle it around. They haven't finished their trilogy. The second one happened at Forbidden Door. Let's make the third one happen at Forbidden Door. Cool. That's only if he does not challenge the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, because I would lose my mind if it was a World Champion versus World Champion.
Oh, man.
Besides the point. You have Samoa Joe, which Ospreay has already said they have never shared a ring with, and he has always wanted to. There's plenty of people that we will inevitably get. Fletcher, Takeshita, Alexander, all of those people.
The one that I think you're missing, we're talking about there's not that many upcoming stars. By the time we get through all these people, we have had more time to establish Speedball Mike Bailey.
That is also very true.
Because I could see that guy climbing his way to the top of the card.
Absolutely. And we've seen proof that he can withhold a 5-star match.
Oh, easily. Easily.
So we have all of this time. We know AEW is not lesser of putting out essentially an open challenge when it comes to Ospreay and just making him defend the title in a 30-minute match on television.
So come get some, bro.
Right. My thing is going to be, we talked about going from All in Texas to All in Texas. So let's go back to this year's Texas that is coming up. A dream match that has to happen at this point. Kazuchika Okada versus Kenny Omega in a intercontinental title match. Because if it's not that stipulation, then what are you doing?
Well, yeah, you've got Kenny with the International, and you've got the Continental on the Okada, and they've talked about unifying because we do have too many belts, I will say.
Yes, it's becoming a lot. And part of it, going back to the women's title match, could be a unification of the TBS and the women's.
See, the women's division I'm fine with keeping separated, but the men's we've got 4 or 5 titles.
Yeah, we've got a lot. So, Kazuchika Okada, Kenny Omega, Intercontinental, Kenny takes it. Is the way I fantasy book All in Texas. I want Okada to disappear. Not to come back. To disappear.
Peace
and then
out,
all
bitch.
in Chicago, all in Los Angeles, all in Vegas, whatever next year's all in is. Before that, maybe Double or Nothing. Kazuchika Okada comes back and he points Will Ospreay down. And I have Okada take that title off of Ospreay.
After a year away.
After a year of wait. They put on a 7-star classic, even though it's not in the Tokyo Dome.
Well, their whole story, the entire time they faced each other, is Big Brother always beats up Little Brother.
Yeah.
And then if you drag that out to whatever the next major pay-per-view after he wins it, when Ospreay finally gets that win back for the title, come on.
Yep.
Come on.
Because I don't think Okada needs that title. Okada has done all of this. They, everything in New Japan, everything in Japan in general. He's broken the tournament record. AEW has clearly gone, hey, this is a top guy right here. You don't need to put a title on him because he is Okada.
He is wrestling royalty at this
point.
point.
The fact that he didn't wrestle in New Orleans when we attended the AEW show, and I'm going to sound like a loser for a second, the aura that came off that human being
just him in a suit doing nothing in that ring. I felt the same way when Shibata comes out, like with the Ops. They had that whole segment with Master P, which was fun.
It was funny.
You know, but I'm just looking down and I'm like, it doesn't matter if he hits a move.
Yeah.
Like, that is Katsuyori Shibata sitting in front of me
That
in a wrestling ring.
we thought was dead.
We thought he was never going to wrestle again, and he's standing in front of me.
Absolutely.
And then he just, like, wears out Wheeler Yuta and flips him over and everything. I'm like, oh, man, he's still got it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something that radiates off of these guys when there is that history, there is that, like, weight to what they do.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, that's my opinion on what's going to happen. I think we get Kenny Omega. If Ospreay takes it, we get MJF, we get Kenny, we get Okada at the very least. We're going to get Joe because Ospreay has come out and said multiple times that he wants Joe.
Got to get another Fletcher match in.
Got to get another Fletcher match. I think we have a whole pay-per-view build of Don Callis challengers. Like, I think that just happens.
Yeah.
Because at this point, all of them could contend for the title. Takeshita,
Josh Alexander, Kyle Fletcher.
I mean, even Beretta at this point.
Beretta, I could see being a fun, like, Dynamite challenge.
Yeah.
Rocky Romero would be interesting.
Yeah.
But it's Rocky, he's going to go out and put on a match.
Does Rocky still work?
I mean, he's part of the Callis family.
Well, I know he's still
as Roppongi
doing
Vice.
all the things. Oh, okay, cool.
So, I mean, like, they brought in Roppongi Vice when Davis went down, so.
Oh, Davis.
It's hard being a Dunkzilla fan.
Yeah. Buddy, do you have any more input on the matter?
Man, I love Ospreay having that, like, why would we want to go on after Anarchy in the Arena?
Yeah.
Because this match means more.
Yeah.
And I'm fully prepared for just absolute chaos in that Anarchy in the Arena match, and then people going, how in three hells are they going to top that? And then Will Ospreay just, like, looks down the camera and goes, hold my personalized jersey, bro, and just goes to work. Because, like, him and Hang are going to kill each other. There's no way that they don't. Like, they're just, it's going to be a bloodbath. Like, and it's going to be technically sound. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to be violent. Like,
yeah. Absolutely.
All the things.
Absolutely. For the first time in a long time, an AEW pay-per-view has more stakes than just what is happening in the pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
And that's storytelling.
They're learning storytelling. Look at it.
Storytelling.
Here we are, year 6. We're learning stories.
Ladies and gentlemen, Double or Nothing's going to be crazy. That happens as of you watching this video. If you're watching it on launch day, it happens tomorrow on Sunday, May 28th. I know my calendar.
It's is it 28th? It's 25th.
Today's no, you're right. 25th. God, I don't know my calendar. Double or Nothing is going to be chaos. All in Texas is going to be chaos. Stay tuned as we build on the road to All in Texas. There will be more content coming your way from us, especially because we will be in Texas.
We will literally be on the road to All in Texas.
Yeah, it's going to be bad. Make sure to hit the like button, the subscribe button. If you liked this rant, let us know, because this is just something that we said, screw it, we're going to sit down and talk instead of doing predictions, and we're just going to fantasy book in a sense. But folks, I've been the storyteller, Alex Braddock, as always.
I'm Dylan Gilbert.
And stay tuned for more content, because it will be coming.
And a potentially drunk reactions video.
And a more than likely drunk reactions video, because it's always a good morning, a good afternoon, a good evening, or good night.
So can I say it no way yet?